Hey everybody, this is John the 4-row farmer. Today it's beautiful out here in northeast Nebraska again. We need to get some dry fertilizer spread as it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So I left you on a cliffhanger on the last video. Did Gould Brothers get done planting? Did they not get done planting? Well, good news, they got done planting. They got the part, they got it on, and they were able to get that other 80 acres knocked out in a short amount of time. So we've actually got corn emerging from the ground. We've got corn that is about yay tall, however big you want to measure that. And so now we got to start getting some dry fertilizer out there. So I'm going to use this seed box here that I'm borrowing from our seed corn dealer, and we're going to set it on these pallets. This is a little unorthodox. Some people have been using seed tenders, things like that to spread dry fertilizer with. Not ready to invest in that much capital quite at this point with the whole game. So with my T20P, I'm going to set this box up on 3 pallets per side, and this will unload. Here, Mrs. Foro, do you want to check this out right here? This slide gate under here is what we'll be loading out of. So we'll put a bucket underneath there to fill, and we'll go 5 gallons at a time. We'll put it into the T20P, into their dry spinner box, and we will start spreading dry fertilizer. It's going to be a lot of passes with the T20P, but I think it's up for the task. So we've got a difference of height here between the F-150 and the trailer, and I'm going to set it up on these pallets so that I can slide a 5-gallon bucket underneath this seed box, and that will allow me to slide under, get some dry fertilizer, dump it into the dry hopper on the T20P. And so we're going to see how many buckets it's going to take to fill it. The urea doesn't weigh a lot, it just is a bulky material, so I think we're going to be having more bulk than weight. The T20P will carry around 50 pounds, but keeping in mind that the urea is not heavy, but it's bulky, so I may be making a lot of light passes. But first thing is I need to get this up here. I could use the Kubota, I could get my pallet forks out, but I took the loader off the other day to mow with. I just don't want to go to the hassle of hooking everything back up again, so I'm going to see if I can blow my back out by putting this up here on these pallets. So right now I'm not working smarter, I'm working harder. We're going to try to get this up here onto this without sliding these pallets all out of the way. It's an awkward heavy, it won't slide real well, but we're going to see if we can get it to go up here. So we're going to tip this up if we can. Actually, we're going to walk it, I'm going to tip it this way. Oh, hi. So we got the box up here on the trailer, and we are centered with the slide gate right here in the middle. We are going to be able to put a 5-gallon bucket in there, and we will be able to start filling with that. So that is the positive thing. We got the lid we can put back on it so that all the urea doesn't fly out, all of the AMS urea. Right now, I think we're going to be using an 80-20 urea blend, so 80% urea, which is a 4600 nitrogen dry pellet, and then we're going to be using a 20% AMS, which is ammonium something, I don't know, sulfate. It's got sulfur in it and ammonia, and it's got like 20-some% nitrogen in it. So we're going to go get this thing filled. We're really curious to see how much product they can get into this. I told them, hey, will you guys fill whatever I show up with, a bathtub, a red wagon, whatever. They said whatever I show up with, they will fill with fertilizer. We're gonna head over there. I chose them because of their location. They're only 4 miles away. We're gonna be making not quite 1 million passes over there, but we will be making that road very well traveled, heading that 4 miles, 8 miles round trip if you're keeping track of the math. Put a comment down in the comment section about how much weight you think they got in here. I think they're gonna put about 1,500 pounds in there, but that's just me speculating. It's bulky, not heavy, so we'll see. Hey everybody, we just got our first load of fertilizer to start spreading. We stopped over at CHS, and they ended up loading, originally they were going to load 1,000 pounds because it doesn't seem like anybody's loaded dry fertilizer in a seed box. So we were not sure exactly how much it holds. So we put 1,000 pounds in there, ticket number 1. And that 1,000 pounds didn't even like show up in the box where we were standing in this like crow's nest area. So we ended up loading another 1,000 pounds, which brought it to the top. The box probably could have held 2,500 pounds total, but we have 2,000 pounds, which would equate to 1 ton is our field. We've got some weeds that are going out there. I was gonna spray it with the drone, but I didn't get my pre-emerge down, so I'm gonna have a ground rig. Actually, CHS is gonna be spraying this for me to get rid of those weeds that are growing off in the distance. Had great intentions, but just didn't work out. The Pioneer variety I have, I think, was too vigorous of a grower. It got a little rain, got some heat, popped it up out of the ground. This box has not been opened. It came with the drone. The spray system has been in there. We took that out of the chassis, and now we are going to open this box. It says void if damaged. I'm going to go ahead and click out my DeWalt knife here, and we are going to go like this and this. So you are seeing an unboxing video for real. This is going to be like here. So hopefully there's a spreader system in here. We are going to split this. And there it is, guys. Silica gel. Do not, never mind. I'm not going to eat that. Do not eat silica gel. We're going to take this thing out, see if there's any assembly required. That fell out over there. Mrs. Forrow is getting the pieces that flew out. These are, probably could read the instructions and find out what these are, but we'll just wing it and look at it. These are things that go on the bottom, I think, known as discs. So we're going to go ahead and actually what these are the spinner discs. These are what the material hits and it broadcasts it out. So they gave us a couple extra of these, it appears. So right here, I'm going to move this box out of the way. What we have in this unit is a flap that is cattywampus. It's going to go right here, and we are going to put this on. This right here is going to be coming off when we do our calibration over here on the drone. And so I'm going to put this back together, plug this into the system, and then we will be filling this with our urea to do a calibration, because that will allow it, based on what I've researched on the interwebs and talking to Terraplex Egg, it'll help calibrate it so that it can know how much material to drop, so we can start spreading the urea on the farm, because the corn's about yay big. Probably about like that. Probably about. It's not a fishing store either. It's legit like that tall. But look at that. That is all that's in the box. A pre-assembled spreader system with what I believe are some extra discs. Plug this in. The scales sit on these different ports right here, and that's how it knows how much material is in the box. Leave a name in the comment. Actually, leave a comment down in the comment section. I'll get that spit out eventually, about what we should name the drone. Right now, I've got a sticker on the front of it that says, at the 4-Row Farmer, of course, so you need to like, comment, subscribe to all of that. So, I always say so. I always say so, don't I? Oh, my word. Oh. So, we got this mud flap thingy that's stuck right here. We got this back on. It's got a little bit of a divot here. Hopefully that does not cause any issue with the spread pattern. But to start the calibration process, there's a little cotter pin right here. We're gonna pull that off, and that is the teeniest little thing to fly across the shop and never be found again. So this will go right here, and I will lose that, but right now it's in that thing. So remind me, it's right down here in this piece of, by the silica that I'm kind of eyeing. I'm eyeing that silica gel. But you take this little wing nut off right here, which is going to take this spinner disc off, because that allows the gate to drop all the material out when we're doing the calibration. So we're going to be doing a tear of just we're basically going to be zeroing out the scale for this unit with nothing in it. Then we're going to drop this plate off of it. Then it's going to run through everything. We're going to put it in a bucket. It'll kind of calibrate itself. Then we should be able to start planning our mission, which we'll show you on the remote what we're doing this time. And we've got the field split up into 3 individual things because of the creek. I don't want to spread fertilizer on the creek. I want to go around the creek. Wow. May or may not have just had a tornado blow through the shed. Sorry about that. But we're going to end up going around it. So I've got it broken into like a 35-acre field, a 33-acre field, and an 80-some acre field. Wet spot that the Gould Brothers was not able to plant. I did a no-go zone right there, so the spreader should shut off in that area, so I'm not just fertilizing water on top of the ground. I realize I need to have this on while it zeroes itself out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this back on. So I'm going to put this right here into the chassis. So this is the chassis of the T20P without this sprayer system in. This is how I've kind of just been flying around looking at tile line and looking at different things like that with it set up like this. This is my RTK receiver right here. I don't have RTK set up to do mine, but that's what that's for. These are different radars and whatnots and things like that. These are the tubes for the sprayers. But right here is the spreader box This will fit down into here, and these, oh, Mrs. Furrow, can you come in here for a second? These little pegs right here, if you see these three little things, they're scales. So what it's doing is it's going to weigh the box, it's going to weigh the material that's in here, and as that starts zeroing out, that'll tell you how much is left in your spreader system. It also does the same thing with your sprayer system to tell you how much material you have left in your tank. So we're going to put this down in here and start the calibration process. I'm going to plug this thing in for, actually, we'll plug it in later. Let's just put this thing in. It's going to sit down in here like this, like this. Look at that nesting box. So that is sitting in there now, and I'm going to go around to the other side, plug it in. We're going to drop this off. Actually, I'm going to turn it on, put the battery in it, turn it on, turn the remote on. That will let us zero out the scales so that it can know that what the actual, so we're not taking into account the weight of the tank. We'll fill it with product, drop this disc off the bottom that I was prematurely telling you to take off. We're going to take that off after we zero that out. Then it will calibrate going through the system so that it can kind of know how much the flow rate is out. We'll name it urea on the urea on the thing. That way when we come back to it again and we're using the same product, we don't have to go through a recalibration process. Instead, we should just be able to go into the system, hit urea, plan a mission, bird goes out. So I'm going to take this connector right here and plug it into the system that is already built into the drone. This unplugs from this is hardwired into the drone up here, where my hand, you can't see it, but there is a hardwire up here. This is on the spreader system. There's also a similar one on the sprayer system. That is when I unplugged. So it leaves this plug right here to go. I'm going to plug this in. Go until it snaps. Then there's a little boot that you can put over it to kind of protect it from the elements. And, whoop, you never want to hear oop when you're doing something, but that was just what happened. But that's okay, we're good. So I'm just basically covering it up. The reason I said oop was because I thought I went too far with it, but it wasn't. It was at the upper range of where it should have been. So we're good there. So this is all plugged in right here. Now what we're going to do is get a battery, put it in here, turn the remote on. We're going to tear this out, not T-E-A-R, but T-A-R-E. We're going to tear this box out so it zeroes it out. We'll put the product in to fill it up, let it calibrate. Then we should be able to start planning a mission. All right, it's battery connection time. We are booting up the remote. We are going to put this battery in right here. We've got the system right here. One thing I did see on the YouTube DJI channel was not to rest your battery on this. It can kind of make your weights or your scales not be as accurate as they once were. So keep that in mind, folks, as you're doing this. Not just when you're switching out batteries. Don't place your weight. Don't place the battery right there. Anyway, that was a long story to tell you not to put your battery in there. So we're going to put this in here and go ahead and start the process of booting Air Tractor up. So, like I said, leave a comment down what you think I should be naming this thing known as the T20P. T20P is kind of lame. I need to name it something. So I'm going to go ahead and boot it up, and we're going to hold that on. And I'll get it here turned on eventually. Oh, there we go. There it is. Did you hear it? That was it. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab the remote here, and we're getting inundated with chickens right now. They're on their way over here, but we're not going to worry about that. So I'm going to calibrate the empty tank. I'm going to go ahead and start calibration. It's got 11%, 33, 34, 35, 77%, and we are empty tank calibration is done. I'm going to go ahead and do a tear calibration. Perform the empty tank calibration tear. Make sure that to empty tank before tear calibration, it's done. So we're going to go ahead and start the calibration. Calibrated, that's how easy that was. Okay,